Dear Venerable Sister, Dhamma friends, we are going to have the first talk in the 125th retreat. So to start the Dhamma talk, may you all get settled down and give the consent with 3 times sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Namo tasse bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhasse. Namo tasse bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhasse. Namo tasse bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhasse. Katame tayo dhamma bahukara sappurisa sansevo saddhammassa savanang dhammanu dhamma patipatti. Dear Venerables, Sister, Dhamma friends, when and where we join to a residential retreat, we try to take this time very precious and try to facilitate it as much as possible along the ways that we know that is very conducive for our final aim. In that sense, the Buddha himself enumerated 5 ways to facilitate towards this emancipation, either in samatha way or vipassana way. That is, that particular presentation of the way of facilities you find in the Anguttara Nikaya, Anuggahita Sutta. So I used to remind it in each and every retreat before starting our main topic. Because it is so important, so practical. And already it has helped us in order to organize our individual life, in order to organize our group action, and in order to organize our Nissarana retreat center. So, the very first thing what the Buddha recommended as the way of facilitating is the moral restrainment, or it is called Sila Anuggahita. That means morally we must abide, and then only we can proceed. So therefore, in this group, as far as the retreatants are concerned, we abide by 8 precepts. We have made that a norm. Anyone who cannot afford, we don't consider as a normal yogi. So even if it is to be considered a special issue, so therefore each and everyone must take care at least to abide by the moral restrainment, and then onward we know we are in such a standard, moral, social standard, and it's very, very important. It is so much so, each and every outsider must feel that particular person is a retreatant, he is or she is with 8 precepts, so therefore that distinction must be clear, then we can make use these facilities, we can make use this freedom, because we are abiding. And then people come and venerate, people come and give free food, people come and give all the other amenities because of these precepts or moral restrainment. So therefore please maintain it right from the beginning of the retreat to the last date. It is out of respect to the Dhamma, we abide by moral restrainment. It is called Sila Anuggahita. And then it comes to the Sutta Anuggahita. Each and every one of us are utterly knowledgeable with so much of information regarding the Dhamma, regarding the meditation. I don't think I have anything to teach you people, because you all are well versed. But anyway, the Buddha himself says we have to rebrush it. We have to remind it and listen to Dhamma again and again. That was the one and the only way during the time of the Buddha. Now only we have a lot of teaching methods, but even then, every teacher understands the best thing is preaching, and the other people are listening, and that is very, very lively. And that is why more than listening to a CD, more than listening to a computer talk, we take time. And they are this Sutta Anuggahita, or book knowledge, or theoretical understanding, or theory understanding is very, very important. And that is the most lively thing in the retreat. So each and every day, we have allocated 1 hour, 1.5 hours for this talk. And that is what we are in for the present moment. And in this, specifically for this retreat, we inquired from the organization, and she had no any kind of particular topic. So therefore, we few monks got together and decided upon the Dasuththara Sutta. So we are going to start Dasuththara Sutta on the book of 3. That will be the topic for the series of this 125th retreat. And after that, the Sutta Anuggahita, then the Sakacca Anuggahita. Sakacca Anuggahita means interview or Dhamma discussion or group interviews. So that is whenever when we go to Maha system, specifically Sadhu Pandita, he used to say, if you can have daily, so much so, you readjust, calibrate your understanding, theoretical, in practical sense. So therefore, frequent interviews are very, very important. And in Nissarana, we adjusted the Mahasi system in 2 ways or refinements. One thing is, with so much of difficulty, we introduce group interviews. Earlier, there are some members in this audience itself. We used to have individual interviews, and many were very happy. But ultimately, when the number increasing from 30, 35, 40, and then it found very difficult to give at least 1 minute per each person, or 5 minutes and then with hesitant, with so much of disagreement, we came to the group interviews. Now it has become very common feature. And even when I go for 1-day retreat, the group interviews, it has become a catalyst. Ultimately, specifically the retreat like this, in the 3rd day, 4th day, you can understand how much everyone come up with the same caliber, even the newcomers or the elderly or senior yogis. So therefore, group interview, one thing we introduced to the Mahasi system, and the other one is we accommodated Anapanasati also, not restraining to the rising and falling of the abdomen. We kept the main object of your meditation open issue. Of course, in the walking, it's a common ground, left leg, right leg, and the lifting, moving, dropping, things are the same. But therefore, that refinement also kind of a new thing, so we make it Sri Lankan. The Merby system made it Sri Lankan and more further, or specifically to the Nissarana. So therefore, each and every one of you taking part in the group interview means a kind of a promotion, kind of a help, kind of a support towards the success of this Sakacca Anuggahita, or interviews in our own way. Whenever someone is armed with, whenever someone is ready with this morality and theoretical understanding and the group interviews, he or she can take time for Samatha Anuggahita, that means training one-pointedness, training concentration, and Vipassana Anuggahita, that is to restrainment or facilitating towards the wisdom and understanding things as they are. all these two, the Samatha Anuggahita, Vipassana Anuggahita, also come under the facilitating. So ultimately it comes to the 5 Anuggahita, Sila Anuggahita, Sutta Anuggahita, Sakacca Anuggahita, Samatha Anuggahita, Vipassana Anuggahita. In that sense, whether you are a newcomer for the first path and fruition knowledge, or whether you are an already earned person and trying for the second path and fruition, or when you are trying for the third path and fruition, still the same. There's no any difference, because it's a repetitive recycling of the going along the same cycle. So therefore each and every time when you refining your morality, your mind becomes fresh, prepared and ready for the new dimension. And when and where you listen something pertaining to your meditation or other meditation instructions, you become rejuvenated. When and where your question being answered, you will be really energized or determined or resolute to go forward. And that is very, very important for someone to strive through this Samatha method and the Vipassana method. So therefore, whatever the status, whatever the starting point, we consider all the 5. These aspects are necessary to make the mind fresh. So that is to introduce what is the necessity of a talk, what's the necessity of a Dhamma talk. And having said that, now we will take time to understand the particular topic we have selected, Dasuththara Sutta. And this is a very specific, particular discourse. It happened during the time of the Buddha, but the main character is not the Buddha, but Venerable Maha. He was the general in this Dhamma warfare, and he, throughout the time of the Buddha, had the idea how to organize, how to stratify, how to make this Dhamma orderly manner so that generation to generation passing can happen without much of losing its limbs, losing its necessary characteristics. And number of times he proposed that to the Buddha, but the Buddha was not much worried about that. But Venerable Sariputta was so worried, so much of precious Dhamma, he has preached in number of ways, for the number of people, number of techniques, and applicable to universal way, irrespective of the geological and other climatological situation. So who the person can hold them entirely and pass it to the second generation. So this is called epistemology or theory of knowledge. And Venerable Sariputta is the main person thought about it. So therefore, Venerable Yakkadiva Paññārāma, when he was emotionally, he says, when I feel so devoted, when I offer a tray of flowers to the Buddha, I never forget Venerable Sariputta. I used to keep one flower separately in the same table to Venerable Sariputta. He is the only person thought about we. After 2,600 years, it has been organized in such a way, even if you lose a limb, even if you lose one cage, with respect to the other graphic presentation, you can imagine, you can guess, this is the one it is losing, and then you can fulfill it. That frame as given by the Buddha, but Venerable Sariputta made it a graph, and tabulated, and presented in such a way, and unlucky enough, before the Buddha, Venerable Sariputta passed away. But before passing away, he presented this to the audience, and Buddha never objected, so therefore it became the teaching of the Buddha. And you find this particular sutta in long discourses, and before the Dasuththara Sutta, you find Saṅghīti Sutta, Sangiti Sutta, you find accumulation of knowledge, but not cut and dry. It is in a little bit unorganized way. He says, what are the things, one by all, and whole sutta by 2 points, whole sutta by 3 points, 4 points, like numerical accumulation happens, and Venerable Sariputta never give the introduction. This accumulation of knowledge is leading to Nibbana. It's a mere theory for the sake of theory. And Sangiti Sutta is the first ever organization of the knowledge in human history. And once he has done it, Dasuththara Sutta, he made 10 of point 1, 10 of points 2, 10 of points 3, 10 of point 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So 10 by 10, 100 chart. And at the beginning he says, each and every unit is leading to Nibbana. It is systematically presented, not mere sake of theory for the sake of theory, is pragmatic. So even if you are understanding the book of one, there are 10 questions and 10 answers right from the beginning. That means for the beginner's mind, at the end, it is leading to Nibbana. And if it is very concentrated, if it is very difficult to understand, then you can go to the book of 2, the same thing given in 2 points. 10 same questions, answer by 2 points. And the topic that we have taken today is starting point of the book of 3. So the way it is fixed in the graphic way, presentation, you find not only the theory, not only the information, the presentation is such a classic way, you feel like studying it, because it is like studying a circuit of a radio, or studying an engine of a car, or studying a computer with its hardware. You find such a understanding. And therefore, you feel it is not just for the sake of the theory, but it is leading one after the other. So today I thought of taking the first very question, which things are greatly helpful. Katame Dhammo Bahukaro. And when he starts the very book of 1, he is asking, Katame Dhammo Bahukaro, what is the single aspect which is very, very helpful? And he says, Appamadesu Kusalesu Dhammesu. It's a single point. You must be diligent in doing good. That means whole sasana, whole teaching of the Buddha, for 45 years, you can put into that nutshell and says Appamada is the single term. You can put everything into one point. Why this presentation is very crucial, why this presentation is very critical, after studying the whole Tipitaka by Rice Davis, she wanted to get the crux of the teaching. And she summarized for the West, telling, after studying the whole Tipitaka, I can't understand what is the basic presentation, whether it is anicca dukkha anatta, impermanent, suffering and non-self character, or it's a cause and effect relationship, or sila samadhi panya, that is a moral training, restrainment, concentration restraint, and the wisdom restraint, or lobha dosa moha, craving, hatred, or ignorance, or karma and karma theory. She says, very difficult to put into a nutshell, and ultimately she summarized in such a way, but she lost in the game. So, when I study, I found that I am not a West, I am born Buddhist, and when I am presenting this to a newcomer, which is the essential intrinsic part of the Buddhism that I am going to present? I don't know from where to start, where to end, because it's a multifaceted. So when I go to Panditarama, Pandita Sayadaw used to say, Appamada is the crux. And everything you can put into that. So then I had a question, why then that the Rhys Davies lost the point? And I had my doubt whether it is Pandita Sayadaw is telling by his authentic teaching, or whether it is documented, or whether Rhys Davies doing all the so much of great work, and whether why she lost the particular term Appamada. Then I found when you are practicing meditation, Appamada is the only thing can explain everything. But you are going to learn from the theoretical point of view, you are utterly lost. That means Buddha's teaching is not for theoretical understanding, but for practical. So therefore, more and more you apply your effort to understand this single term, Appamada, that means you are progressing. So that is why at the beginning of this retreat, we introduce all the yogis. This whole retreat is to understand this term meaning of Appamada. That's it. We are not aiming at anything. Anything happen will be secondary or endowment, but our effort is to understand Appamada. And when you go little further into this term, even the commentators, even the other scholars accept this Appamada is the synonym for sati, for mindfulness. So, diligence is the translation for Appamada, mindfulness is the translated term for the sati, both are the same. And whenever you lose this point, you lose Buddhism, you lose enlightenment, you lose even your identity or your balance, and that is what happened to the present day Buddhism. They never refer to the sati. They never refer to Appamada. Instead, they talk about so much of thing. Ultimately, chaotic to chaotic, situation is becoming complicated. So, in my life, more than 30 years, I try to simplify it only to sati, only to Appamada. I find no friction. Whatever I am doing, go without a friction. I am fairly in the comfort zone. So whenever someone is asking question, whenever someone is diverted their attention, then I say simply, I am sorry, I know only Appamada and the mindfulness, and for me it is okay. But if you need others, please go ahead and learn. I have no any objection, but I can predict you will end up with the complication. So therefore, theoretically people getting PhDs, double PhDs and departments on the Buddhism and kind of thing, utterly suffering scholars. But anyone in my life I have seen, people allocated time, dedicated time for sati and Appamada, day by day life becomes simplified. Day by day life becomes straight, present, open to the present moment and under your very nose. So therefore, before going to 3, I wish to draw the attention to the single point, that is Appamadesu, Kusalesu, Dhammesu. And then, Venerable Saripati is asking, the second question, the book of 2, Katame Dve Dhamma Bahukara. If you wish to understand what are the proximate 2 causes, helpful greatly, Saticha Sampajanyancha. Mindfulness and clear comprehension. So that means Appamada means, in a sense, Sati Sampajanya. If you can't understand Appamada, then you may try understanding by 2 terms. Mindfulness and clear comprehension. That is why the commentators took Appamada and Sati, Appamada is diligence and the Sati as mindfulness as synonyms. And I saw Venerable Katakurunde Jnanananda also went into this subject, and he says, commentators also accept it, I also accept it. We can say Appamada and Sati are synonyms. So Sati, very technical, very scientific. Appamada is somewhat aesthetic. It is somewhat art of living. So you can approach to the subject from both the ends, as an art of living, or introducing in a aesthetic way, or in a very scientific way, or samatha way, vipassana way, like it is not so sharply discrete, but two methods. So therefore, some people try to understand the teaching of the Buddha in terms of appamada, or diligence or vigilance. Some other people understand through mindfulness and clear comprehension, and ultimately they come to the same point. So let us see, if you wish to know it in 3 terms, or book of 3, that is the today's subject, and now it has been expanding. What are the Venerable Sariputta is asking, Khatami tayo dhamma bahukara. If you wish to know what are the most greatly helpful 3 things, then the Buddha is coming, Venerable Sariputta is coming, of course the teaching of the Buddha, Sappurisa sansevo saddhammassa savanang dhammanudhamma patipatti. Your appamada, your mindfulness can be replaced by association with good friend, association with a true person. Now it is an ethical problem. Mindfulness is your mental concomitant. Mindfulness is a chetasika or mental concomitant. But Sappurisa Sanseyo is a completely social issue. So when and where you take time, or when and where you take the priority to associate with the true person, a good friend, then your mindfulness will be automatically fulfilled. Your appamada will be automatically fulfilled, and therefore how to understand such a true person or such a noble person, it's a challenge. And easily therefore you can understand majority of people says nowadays you don't find so much of true people. There are no noble people. People are really, really bad. So therefore we'll wait for not for this dispensation, but waiting for the next Buddha to appear. Then there may be dozens of good people. So they are accumulating merits in order to search good people in the supermarket. But even in the future Buddha, though to happen, you don't find the good people or true people in the supermarket. So therefore, when and where you are to see, today in the society at large, there are no so much of good people, that means you are bad. Bad people can't find bad outside people. So whenever you hate yourself, you make a statement, society is deteriorating, no moral shame, no moral fear, everyone is cheating, so how to find good people? So therefore, you gave it up. You give it up and wait for the next Buddha to happen. So that means you hate yourself, you never meditate, you never make mindfulness, you never diligent, and then everyone you find cheating. The moment, each and every moment, you become mindful, each and every moment you become diligent, you see the world is so conducive, supporting your mindfulness. It is supporting your diligence, and then you find even after 2600 years back, we are utterly plugged in, connected. That means, that's the duty of the good people. They have preserved Dhamma. If you do not know what to practice and how to practice, definitely you will end up with a mess. But if you understand the mindfulness, if you understand the diligence, you find utterly, genuinely, intrinsically good people. We find in the same society because you get the proper lens. When you see through the lens, you can see the good part of the people. When the good part of the people come, you feel like crying. If you give a wrong idea and look the people from the bad point of view, of course the world is bad. But when you find the people from the good side, today world is at such a chaos situation, but not limited to Buddhism, each and every society, there are very genuine people. They are utterly practicing this skillful way of life, and they are very happy to share with other people. So I read one article called Conscious Army. They says, now organized governments, multinational companies are utterly destructive. Any organization is evil. That is directly mentioned by Krishnamurti. Whenever you become here and now, you are genius, you are utterly with the nature, and you contribute to the good vibration. And when and where you believe yourself, believe the appamada, the mindful, and you find there is nothing lacking, but there's a kind of uncertainty, kind of a fear, kind of a doubts. Is this the correct method? As far as you doubt this method, you doubt the whole world. Moment you understand this is the truth, this is the reliable thing, and you find to be mindful, to be diligent, there is nothing blocking. More and more you practice, easily you can understand the other nearby true person or the genius or noble person. Then you find noble people get together in a completely different vibration. They are not concerned about the political gain, social gain, no economical, no cheating. They are doing, and with the development of this technology, now you can find in each and every society, there are that kind of a people. And whenever the mindfulness come into being, whenever the appamada come into being, their religious mood has gone. They are true people. They are not Buddhist. So traditional Buddhists, they completely, utterly lost. Because they hold into a kind of stereotype idea, they search, scrutinize good people within the capacity so-called Buddhist. Hopeless. Because they are trapped. They are trapped in this so-called cult. Sinhalese Buddhist, Burmese Buddhist, Thai Buddhist, Theravada Buddhist. I am not going against it because I am born with that. I am brought up with that. I am the best, the biggest person got the highest benefit out of the traditional Buddhism. But when and where you try to get trapped into the traditional Buddhism, I have to understand they are the worst lot. Given such a precious Dhamma, without practicing mindfulness, without practicing appamada, they are highly talking about so-called Buddhism. Ultimately what they are doing is fairly distorting it. Setting a bad example, unbecoming. When and where you go to mindfulness, when and where you go to appamada, you understand easily you can communicate with the people, even with trees, even with animals, even with non-Buddhists, no much of problem in the communication. But appamada, the mindfulness is something dry. It is not juicy. It is not sappy. It is not highly demand in the market. So that is the character. That is the character who Pandita Sayadaw used to say, it is just white bread. You have to eat. There is no jam, no cheese. If you like, eat. If you do not like, eat. That's it. That is what you call mindfulness. Oh, bones, without any marrow bones, without any flesh, without any blood. So just like a dog eating into a just bone, the Vipassana yogi keep on fighting with mindfulness, keep on practicing with appamada, and they never look here and there. They never expect any juicy thing. They never expect any sappy thing. Keep on practicing. You can see other next person who also understood the same, and while practicing, when you see, there is a good vibration, and that conscious army is becoming more and more big, and you find you are in a net. You are in a universal net. Everyone practicing, even they are not looking each other, seeing each other, talking each other, conscious army is there. So more and more you practice, you feel today, just like the time of the Buddha, there's no hindrance, there's nothing blocking. Only thing is you have to have the correct perspective. So to understand even the true person, to understand the noble person, the correct perspective. When you go further and further, you will find each and every person is genius, each and every person is noble, each and every person is good, if you can see the viewpoint. If you know the viewpoint, you can see the good part of the people. But today world is looking from the bad side. They themselves consider, they themselves underestimate them and look at the bad side, then it is chaotic. More you practice up, when the refinement and the purification go up, you find the humanness itself is genius. There's a one lady, she wrote a book telling, everyone born enlightened, they don't know. You have to tell them, you are born enlightened, that is, you are born to be free. The book is known as Born to be Free. Our association is nothing but to understand we are enlightened. The Sila, Sikha, is nothing but to understand we are born enlightened. Samadhi Sikha is nothing but to understand we are born enlightened. Panya Sikha is nothing but to understand we are born enlightened. Or put into in another way, soon you are telling Buddhaṃ Saraṇaṃ Gacchāmi, you are enlightened. That's the least criterion. And who is living up to that is the issue. After taking the refuge of the Buddha, Dhamma and Sangha, and if you are not living up to that, you have to understand, I myself is also fool. I am also not living up to that, so therefore I have to make sure. So taking refuge is one thing, and how much we are going to live up to that, it's a very hard thing. But when you are striving, you can see there are some other people, they are also striving, and these are the only people at a glance you can see. But later, more and more you practice, you see, if you introduce Dhamma in the correct perspective, everyone can understand. That's a presentation. But next to the Buddha, Venerable Sariputta was the best person to introduce. It was like a mother. Any person I come across to Venerable Sariputta, he always try his best to put him into the Sotapatti Magga, put into the path. And embrace him, give as much as possible, even if it's impossible. He used to send it to the Buddha and says, Bhante, I tried so much, I am sorry to disturb you, please see what is wrong. And there were some events when the Buddha helped him, and then Venerable Sariputta has to learn something from the Buddha because no one can come close. There's one person, before my coming to Nissarana, he was an academic person. They came to know Nissarana is special, and they came and met Venerable Matarasri Jnanaram. But they were utterly desperate. They were not happy. On the way back, he is talking with his colleague and telling, with so much of hardship, I went and met Venerable Jnanaram, but still a failure. It's a disappointment. Venerable Katukurunda is going there, he overheard it. And then went and asked Venerable Jnanaram, according to as the story goes, Bhante, who came to meet you? Such and such came. And on the way back they have mentioned, even after meeting you, they were not happy. Then Venerable Jnanaram has mentioned, I am sorry, this is my capacity. If a Buddha were to be here, he would have helped even that person. I can't. It is a duty of him, but he is not capable. So he is sorry about that, not sorry about the person. He says, sorry, I can't help him. So that is the way Venerable Sariputta's perspective. If someone can understand, that's the problem, or that's the weakness of the teacher, not the disciple. Because we are brought up in a culture utterly with craving. Our parents are really representing the craving. Our teachers, our leaders. So they are training us to be more crazy, more craving. They never teach us the truth. So when you go to a teacher, spiritual teacher, it is a tupsi-turvidam. Teacher has to say, whatever your parents taught, please leave it aside. What your professor tell him, please leave it aside. Please try to understand from this perspective. As if the candidate is not fitting, it is a problem of the teacher, not the parent, not the person. So he has to find another way, some or the other, put them into the correct perspective. So to come back to the same issue, I would say, I request each and every one of you, please take the mindfulness as the forerunner, mindfulness as the main thing, and look at the problem through the mindfulness, help people through the mindfulness, practice through the mindfulness, then you can see the least frictional path. You can see the comfort zone. That is why Venerable Sariputta first he says, when and where you wish to know the greatly helpful single thing, diligence. Which you wish to see. What are the two things greatly helpful? Mindfulness and the clear comprehension. If you wish to see three things, the starting point is the true person or the noble person. When and where you understand the noble person, you yourself also become a noble person. It never happens without evolving you. So therefore people are there, noble people and ignoble. Which one you are getting plugged in, it's a highly coincidence. And Richard Davidson, after doing so much of good experimenting with this brain and frontal lobe functioning and evolving the highest evolution, in an interview he has mentioned, being this mindfulness so free of charge, being this mindful is the panacea for all the questions on the earth. You see how many little people, little proportion is only taking the mindfulness, majority reject it. Why? Don't know. It's a genius, coming from genes. Why some people are taking, why not? He says, I can't think about a design experiment also to this or leave it aside. It's a coincidence. And when and where someone taken, then I can understand if such a person practice 1 hour, so much of gamma rays and theta rays I can measure. If he's practicing 2 hours, I can show him 1 hour, so much of benefits, 2 hours. 3 hours, 4 hours, 10 day, 10-day retreats, 3 months, he showed the graph to His Holiness Dalai Lama. He says, such a straightforward relationship. But why do people are not coming? I am not worried. Even the Buddha never worries. Only the Sinhalese Buddhists are worrying to make the whole world Buddhist. Bauddha Rajya. Such a joke. They don't understand the profundity of Dhamma. So therefore, please, be mindful and mind your own business. That's a simple answer. One day you will understand when you are minding your own business, you become slowly understand there are some other people also mindful. They mind their own business, so they are using their capacity, their potential in order to straighten himself or herself. And ultimately the good vibration will come. Silent sermon will come. And then you can do something without much of repercussions, without much of danger, the lasting decision. So therefore, whenever someone is telling mind your own business, usually it appears like a negative and it's a wrong statement. But sorry to say, when and where you try to be mindful, you have to understand ethically, at least on principles, mind your own business. That you can't do as a Sinhalese Buddhist. You try to poke fingers into other psychologies to make them more Buddhist. Ultimately, you lose the present moment. You are being present here. Your each and every endeavorance to make others Buddhist is you hate present moment. You hate here and now. So later I will say the other way around. Once you learn how to be here and now, ultimately that your good grace, your good vibration will go. That is Dhamma. But at the beginning, the Sappurisa Sanseyo is a must. And one day Venerable Ananda was practicing in the shadow of the Jetavanarama, and his meditation was so good and so happy. And after that he came to the Buddha and paid respect 3 times and said, Bhante, that I have to thank you because 50% of my celibate life, the success, 50% of the success is due to association with the noble friend. That means you. But the Buddha says, oh wait Ananda, just shut up. Not the 50%, 100% of your success in your celibate life is nothing but the association with the good friend. So it is not 50%. So imagine you don't know mindfulness, you don't know appamada, but you know the noble person and dedicate 100%, and then your whole celibate life is a very, very complicated thing. It's a very involved thing. But the Buddha says the association with the noble friend is such a graceful thing. So therefore don't think or don't utter, don't state, world is deteriorating. It is your bankruptcy, but the world is not deteriorating. That deterioration is the first and foremost sign of the 3 signs that is impermanent. That's becoming something. And that is what you call deterioration. So you have to understand it's a universal fact. Whenever you personify, you suffer. Whenever you understand it as a truth, that is the first truth the Buddha mentioned, things are deteriorating. And the noble person make use it to get catalyzed, get charged. Ignoble people crying, lamenting and finding ways and means, searching other places. But the noble person, not that he wish the deterioration, he make use it. He understands this is the normal theme. So when and where something go beyond control and non-governable, he says, that is what the first and foremost sign. And that is the Buddha accepted, noble people accepted, why can't I accept it? And then only you can think the positive ways and means, what to do under such circumstances. But instead if you get desperate, if you are going to be inferior, then your mind will never work. Your brain circuits will never work. So therefore this understanding, never you can do, whatever the meditation you do, if you don't find the noble friends in the society at the vicinity. So dispensation of the Buddha means, here and there you find such a people. And then you can have then a role model and you can live up to them, taking them as a role model. I don't expect such 100% noble people except Buddha. All the others have their own weaknesses. The next best would have been Venerable Sariputta. But sorry, we are 2600 years late. But I have seen Venerable Jnanarama. I have associated U Pandita Sayadaw. Then I can understand such people, their grace, their presence indicate it's a possibility. And 2 completely different characters. Venerable Jnanarama is a tusker living in the forest. U Pandita is a lion jumping and crushing you. It's a different animal. I don't know who is the king of the forest, whether the tusker or the lion, but I love both. Venerable Jnanarama is embracing and telling you are a very good boy, nice. But U Pandita Sayadaw, no mercy, kick you, hack you, and you can see both of them they are contented people. More association, you feel the grace. So therefore don't try to focus, don't try to foresee, don't try to predict the noble person. Unpredictable. Unpredictability is much more true with Upandita Sayadaw. Whenever Jnanarama is somewhat predictable. The way is very conventional, somewhat predictable, but Upandita Sayadaw never allow you to imagine what it is happening. But unlucky enough, both of them have gone by now. And still, there may be some other people also. I see, to my eyes, these two great people, and they are really representing the Maha Thero or Theravada. Theravada means they are very established people and they can dictate terms and conditions. They are the kings. And when you go there, they find their contentment. And association makes such a big difference. So don't try to put them into the heaven and try to worship them as the godly figures. No, they are human. Both of them have their own weaknesses. And more as to associate you find, their simple, silent sermon is, don't consider this as a impossibility. Start somewhere, keep on practice mindfulness, keep on practice diligence, and slowly you will understand, I have my potential, I have my possibility, I have my capability. All the people find my mistakes, but the noble friend never find the mistakes, he find the spark. He find the silver line in the dark cloud, and that is a good sign. And more you practice, one day before the death, you have to be a noble friend. You have to be a true person and help others, but don't rush. When the maturity happens, when the mindfulness come up to a certain capacity, you see, it's the grace is cascading, the vibration is going. So, if you can't understand the Sapruja Sanseva, or how to associate with the God friend, how to associate with the noble friend, and who is the noble friend, it's a fair enough. It's a valid doubt. It's uncertainty is there. Then go back to the mindfulness. And clear comprehension, it's something you can practice. Day by day you can accumulate, like putting a flower after flower to the garland. Try to be mindful. Be clearly comprehend. Don't discriminate good and bad. Don't discriminate gain and loss. Don't discriminate pain and pleasure. Just be mindful. If it is still impossible, be diligent. Go back to the diligence, and not only the diligence to do perform your duties, to perform what you should perform, that is we call duties, but be diligent not to do what you should not do. That's the part, that's the secret in our life. By doing good thing, only you cannot be diligent. You must be diligent to do what you should do. That is what we call the social ethics. But there's a hidden part, what you call religious part or the spiritual part, not to do what you should not do. And when we meet in a retreat, when we meet as residential retreatants, we have to understand each and everyone must be very concerned about others' behavior. Maybe they are doing not done, things not done. Under such circumstances, you must behave like a mirror. Please let them know, let him know, let her know, these are the things you hurt me, but I am not finding fault with you. I am just giving you information. In return, if you find some mistake in me, please give me what are the mistakes, because we have to mirror each other, because Buddha is not here. Venerable Sariputta is not here. So when that happens, you may see our group is become more than family members, more than relatives, because our aim is the same. And that is what now we are in rainy retreat. At the end of the rainy retreat, we monks get together under one roof, it's called the ordination hall, and we offer, we invite Dittenava, Sutenava, Parisankayava, Vadantu Mangayasmanto, Passanto Patikarisami. He says, dear venerables, I live with you 3 months. During these 3 months, if you have seen, if you have heard, if you have any doubt about my wrong behavior, please, let me see. If I also see it, definitely I will correct it. So Pandita Sayadaw says, it's what a statement, what a culture, what a humanness, what a gentlemanship, asking another co-practitioner, because Buddha is not there, Venerable Sariputta is not there, but you have another practitioner, he may be an utter failure. But he has a different perspective to see us. Dittenava, Sutenava, Parisankayava, Vadantu Pangayasvanto, Passanto Patikarisami. If you have ever seen, if you have ever heard, or if you have any doubt, please let me know. You must offer. That's called pavarana. In English it's called invitation or offer. You offer it, and then other person take care not to find fault with. Try to develop the peace among the meditators, and then whenever he or she is finding something, asking, I am going to tell something, are you ready? If it is not so, don't tell. If the other party is ready, you have to tell the particular precept and this thing you have broken, and this is the event. Then the other person is challenge you. Where did you see what? And whenever he or she is accepted, then the ayati sangvara, that is for the future corrections, we start. So therefore, each and every ordained monk appear like a mirror. And at the end of the rainy retreat, we offer it. And these things you can't do in UNDP, you can't do in the WHO, you can't do it in any other agreement. These things, they are utter rogues. They are hiding each other. They are misleading humanity. Don't believe this international organization and multinational organization, but imagine another person practicing mindfulness, practicing diligence, and go, you can tell, says, I see you are practicing, at least you have theoretically accepted that sharing. So therefore don't think that whole world ruined, or whole world eroded with human qualities. It is not there. Sometimes you feel like it, you feel like talking. At that moment you have the hate within yourself. That is why you are talking like that. Whenever you feel mindful, whenever you are diligent, when you are vigilant, you see the world is more greener than earlier, because you are mindful. After good session of sitting, open the eyes and see how beautiful the people are. One lady mentioned to another meditation master, teacher, telling her, I see a beautiful tree. And the master asked, where? Just in front of my house. Earlier I never see beauty. After meditation it is more beauty. It is more greener. So each and every person giving these noble qualities when your mind becomes purified. And ultimately they become catalytic each other, it's growing. And I see 125 retreats. Each and every time you see how much refinement, how much group action. We have a lot of mistakes. Never mind. We know. We end up with success story. Because we are openly contributing. And do you think that contribution is partial because you are male or female? It's partial because you are not ordained and ordained. If you think you are seniority or juniority or knowledge, nothing. It is just simple. How do you call it? It is to say innocence. That's the term. If you are innocent enough, you are a full-fledged member. So mindfulness or diligence, association with a good friend is utterly on the base, you have to be innocent. It is not a learning, it's a de-learning process. You have to be human. So we are born with it. So each and every moment when you are sitting and understanding I am sitting, you see how innocence. When you are walking, you are just walking on the earth without slippers, just on the mother earth. You see how innocent. And when you are eating, you know you are eating. How innocent. So I call it is Nibbana. I call this is Buddha. I call this is Dhamma. I call this is Sangha. I call this is the precepts. So what prevent you? What disturb you? When eating, you are eating. You know. And if I am to use 2-3 sentences, the mindfulness and the clear comprehension, whenever you are mindful, if you know you are mindful, that is what the clear comprehension. And that means there are a lot of events, you are mindful but you don't know. Then you are utterly at lost. You have sati but no sampajanya. So when and where you mindful and you know, then you are the Buddha. So you sit and you know the utter duty of my mind, the retreat is just to sit and be aware I am sitting, and each and every moment, that's a kind of appreciation, you know I am sitting, so that's the success of the retreat. While walking, you know my main task is to aware this walking and appreciate it. And when and where you walk, see simplicity, see this innocence. And it's more true in young children. I am now highly connected and associated with the young children. Whenever you teach them innocence, they will return teach us, you are bloody fool, you are complicated person, you just see me, I am simple, I'm already simple, already innocent. But you all crocs, very difficult. Elderly people, very difficult because you don't know, you have forgotten this innocence. So therefore simply be there and understand, whenever you become innocent, you are diligent. Whenever you become innocent, you are mindful. Whenever you are innocent, each and every person is a true person. Each and every person is a noble person. And even the wind can teach you, the fire can teach you, water can teach you, earth can teach you, if you are innocent. So the true person or the noble person is a silent sermon to tell you are already endowed with, don't search yesterday, don't search tomorrow, don't search other places, don't search other people, be here and now. And he says, I am here and now. I am happy. So it's a contagious. Whenever you meet the noble person, you feel something contagious is spreading. And I, without a hesitation, I enumerate Jnanarama's name and Upanita shadows. By going there, you feel it. So don't expect dozens of that kind of people. Go to them wherever may be. If you feel mindful, isn't in a place, you become mindful, that place is the fortune place. When you go to a person, if you become mindful, he is the noble friend. Whatever the thing happen, if you make mindful, it's an indication, it's a sign, catalytic. Don't hate them. Sometimes you become mindful when you bite your tongue. So don't hate it. You are mindful. When you have toothache, when you have a headache, when you have stomach trouble, utterly mindful. But ultimately you try to get rid of the toothache, we try to get rid of the stomach trouble, and then you say that to be mindful I must get rid of the stomach trouble. And then you start playful. But whenever the pain happens, make it a noble friend. Make it that recently after teaching that last full moon day, young children came and this hall was completely packed. And that girl used to say, Avasarai Swami Nvanta, and started, he says, I got a pain in the right knee. And Bhante told, when the pain is in the right knee, look at the left knee is already enlightened. And then you feel, right knee is now cornered, you are with the left knee, no problem. When you have the toothache, understand you are 32. teeth. Don't worry about the painful teeth. Think about the others, and they are full. They are enlightened. And you are just shifting the attention. And if the pain is in the left side, look at the right side. And that's the ways and means mindfulness is giving. And that, what I am going to say is, your painful right leg is your noble friend. Don't try to get rid of it. And due to that only you become mindful. Diversification of the attention issue. Just look at the right leg, and you find right leg is no problem. And you see, then with that perspective, this pain is simplified. So don't expect the noble person to be 6 feet tall and V-shaped body and all the kind. No, I am telling, each and every pain, each and every irritation is a noble friend. More you practice, that will be increasing, I am assure you. Your pains will be increasing, irritation will be increasing, boredom will be increasing, sleepiness will be increasing. These are the clear signs you are on the way. So far what you did was try to get rid of boredom, try to get rid of pain, try to get rid of monotony, try to get rid of sleepiness, try to get rid of the fearfulness. But they all become noble friends if you know how to put them into the perspective and to get the catalytic effect. And when and where you go there, it's a walkover. There's no rivalry party. You are a winner. Only the perspective. I think enough for the day. So we'll meet again tomorrow and try to see further what does it mean by Saddhamma Savana. And first thing is a Sappurisa Sanseva. Not only expect Sattpurisa, but try to be Sappurisa and see with the perspective of Appamada and Sati, and definitely you will leave this place more friendly with you, more Sappurisa will, as a Sappurisa or noble friend. If it is so, we declare this retreat as a success. With that remark, I would like to sum up there. Today's talk. Thank you very much for listening.